police chatter over the airways may soon be a thing of the past.
That's because more and more law enforcement agencies all over the country are trying to shield their radio traffic from the public.
Those agencies, including many in our area, are choosing to encrypt their radios as they upgrade to a digital system.
But does that hurt public safety? Fox 10 News reporter Andrew Perez has been digging for answers. Andrew?
Bob Lanise, it's important to point out that while these departments are upgrading in order to meet federal standards, we've learned that they're not required to encrypt their radios. That decision is made within each law enforcement agency. For years now, the public and the media have been able to keep track of police activity, crime, and even hold officials accountable by listening to these radios. So we wanted to find out why, after all this time, some agencies are looking to tune the public out.
No, that's all right. 619 North Laramie.
When seconds count in the interest of public safety, communication is key. For years, area police and fire departments have depended on their analog radios to share information with each other.
755 East 80th Street.
But more and more agencies are now making the move to a digital radio system to meet federal requirements in a post-9/11 world.
Everyone's running for their lives, literally.
It came out of the September 11th attacks on the Twin Towers in New York. You had a multi-agency response to a man-made disaster, and the biggest thing that came out of it was the inability of the different agencies to communicate with each other.
Deputy Chief James Barber says the Mobile Police Department is now beginning its digital transition. In the process, though, he says the public and local media outlets will no longer be able to listen in on police chatter. MPD radios, he says, will go dark.
All of it will be encrypted. We've not objected to the encryption because there's a lot of information that travels through the police radios, and you guys listen to the scanners. There's social security numbers, people's identifying characteristics such as names and date of birth.
That also means no more public access to real-time information like traffic accidents and crime when it happens. One reason for the move, Deputy Chief Barber says things like smartphones have made it easier for bad guys to monitor police activity.
145. Rescue 9, you're responding to a 22-year-old female who is conscious and breathing.
How often have you guys run into situations where, burglars, robbers, that they've been listening to you guys while you're trying to pursue them?
I don't know that I could quantify that for you. Does it happen? Absolutely. There's people that keep scanners in their house, and certainly the media certainly monitors police traffic, but there's a lot of people out there that have an interest in scanners.
Just a few years ago, we had several individuals that robbed 3 banks in Baldwin County. One of the things that we did when we were doing some of the search warrants and doing that, we found where they had scanners and they were listening for law enforcement.
The Baldwin County Sheriff's Office has had encrypted radios for nearly a year now. Sheriff Hubie Haas-Mack says it protects operations and sensitive information. But our investigation revealed that even in the old system, Baldwin County, like other agencies, already had additional channels that are near impossible to scan. Why add the extra level if you guys were already able to go off to private avenues?
Keep in mind, not only does this system have the capability of pushing voice data, it has able to push other data as well. So if you had somebody that hacked into your system, they might not only be accessing voice, they may be accessing the text data.
Essentially, Baldwin County only has a handful of outlets for information. The department will send press releases and, as you can see, post a few things on Facebook. Besides monitoring inmates, though, real-time information has proven difficult to come by. It's one reason why neighboring Mobile County has chosen not to scramble its signals.
The media, reports to the public certain things that they hear or see, and it shows the public that perhaps someone's checking up on us, if you will.
Sheriff Cochran says he actually sees a benefit to keeping an open channel. Scanner buffs will have to upgrade their systems to hear them now, but Sheriff Cochran says he is not purposefully tuning out the public.
We've just not seen the need to encrypt everything. Most of the information that goes over the airwaves is not of any kind of confidential nature or anything like that. The things that we truly would not want anybody to hear, we don't transmit it over the airwaves. We would either encrypt it or do it by some other other means of communication.
It's a philosophy that's also shared by the Mobile Fire Rescue Department.
We have no reason to do it at this point. I mean, we're simply, we dispatch calls, for lack of a better word, we don't have anything to hide.
Now, media stations like Fox 10, we have a unique relationship with public safety departments. We help get the word out, but more importantly, our job is to keep you informed.
These radios are just one of the tools that help us do that.
Why wouldn't you just allow, I guess, the media, or consider allowing the media access to those channels?
Again, I think allowing the media access to the information is fine. I don't really see why giving them real-time access to the radio communications is going to impair the ability of the media to be able to respond to certain things. Well,
because the news cycle happens in real time. People get their information in real time. It's an immediate concern for public safety sometimes.
And we start tonight with some breaking news out of Midtown Mobile. This was the scene about an hour ago.
Last week alone, Fox 10 News was able to bring you breaking news about 2 gunmen on the loose after robbing a Chinese restaurant at night. We first alerted you to a burglary turned police chase, even reported on 2 different calls for shots fired. All information we first heard on police scanners. Departments like Mobile Police say it plans to come up with a new system like a Facebook or Twitter feed to keep the public better informed.
we'll have to make sure y'all are getting the information on the stuff that's going on and that we're able to brief you on what we're doing.
We've also learned that while most of the funding for these radios came from grants, the fire department says it's still costing the city of Mobile $8 million total. Now, just this morning, I drove up to Birmingham, where all Alabama sheriffs in the state, they gathered today for a training conference. I wanted to get a better idea of where the law enforcement community at large stands on this issue. And what I discovered is that many of them also stand divided when it comes to encryption. Several sheriffs from Jefferson County to Calhoun County believe the public has the right to listen in on basic police radio communications, which is why those departments chose to leave their radios open. Of the 8 sheriffs I spoke to, only 2 of them chose to encrypt their department radios.
Did we catch some flack from the public going out because they love to listen to it on the scanner? They did, but we come out and we explain to them it's officer safety issues.
I have no problem with it. I see those people in the community as our allies. Certainly there are those who use them wrongfully, but I think the good far outweighs any potential problems we have.
Now, also an interesting note, Sheriff Wally Olson of Dale County is among those who believes in keeping those radio channels open for the public, which is surprising since his department just went through a very tense hostage standoff in Midland City last week, where the suspect was actually trying to monitor police activity. The president of the National Sheriff's Association says a majority of his fellow law enforcement officers understand the need for transparency.
It was a hectic night for law enforcement in Southern California yesterday.
Yeah, this as officers got into a gunfight with a man believed to be former LAPD officer Christopher Dorner.
Guys down!
And a news crew was there for all of it. We'll show you more of this dramatic video when we come back.
It's clearing quickly on our Storm Tracker Doppler radar. Good news there, but we start to look at